Round 50s have become somewhat of a staple on this channel. These challenges take place on many different games using many different weapons, but weapons are always the focal point, never the game or the map. So I decided, why don't I play a map that I've only played about 5 times in the last 5 or so years and just try and get to round 50 on it. It's a map that I love, and I also think it's one of the best maps we've ever had, and I'm sure a lot of you probably feel the same way about it. And that map is Zombies in Spaceland. People have no joke been asking for this map for the best part of a year. When is Spaceland going to be on the channel? Where's Infinite Warfare Zombies? When's this? Where's that? Well, here it is. Zombies in Spaceland in all of its glory. We spawned in with our nerdy geezer and the worst starting pistol of all time, so I thought best to knife my way through this round. I go to get my first kills of the game only to be hit with the triple slap supreme and I'm dead. And well, that's it from me. Round 1, it was a valiant effort, and I'll see you all in the next one. Still here? Good, because I ran it back for a proper first attempt. This time I was a bit more cautious when it came to my knifing, and after a couple of rounds of point grinding, I left spawn in an attempt to remember what the hell to do on this map. Now, the last time I played Zombies in Spaceland was about 1.5 to 2 years ago, and I very much couldn't remember anything about this map, and I thought it'd be more fun to try and figure things out for myself rather than look up a guide. So basically, this first run is just me realizing how much of an idiot I am. None of the starting guns tickled my pickle until I laid eyes on the Oni. Seemed good enough, so I got it bought. I will say, there is one thing about this map that I did know, and that was the double Pack-a-Punch. I may not have remembered how to open Pack-a-Punch in the first place, but as I said, the double Pack-a-Punch. I know about it. But to get double Pack-a-Punch and also the ability to upgrade all of the wonder weapon pistol things, I'd need to beat the Easter egg. But who's got the time for that? You know what I'm saying? So I didn't bother, and instead I was just going to raw dog it until I ran dry. I spent a few more rounds in the center of the map with the Oni, grinding out more points. My first real goal for this was to get power and Pack-a-Punch open. This meant turning on the power switch in each section of the map. The only problem here was finding the goddamn switches. For some reason, I was dead set on there being one in the little underground tunnel part of the map. Spoilers, there isn't one down here, but there did end up being a clown round, which was just wonderful for me. Luckily, a round 6 boss round is a doddle, and I got it cleared before being turned into the next Georgie. The next round, I did in fact find a switch, which just so happened to be over by Jug. I got the power on and the perk bought, and also regained a sliver of confidence. Over the next few rounds, I managed to get 2 more power switches turned on. First was over by the crocodile mouth trap, and no, I don't know the names of these areas. I don't remember how to get Pack-a-Punch open. You think I'm going to remember some names as well? With that power turned on and the one by Speed Cola, I began looking for the last one. I knew it was in the arcade. The only issue was figuring out how to get into the arcade, and I shit you not, it took me until round 16 to figure that out. Next time I do one of these, please force me to do my research first. I beg you. With us in the arcade, we got the power turned on, but that was only step 1 of us getting Pack-a-Punch opened. You see, to get the Pack-a-Punch up and running, you have to go through 4 separate teleporters that are dotted throughout the map. Luckily, these are all placed right by the adjacent power switches in that area, of which I didn't know at the time, did I? But on that same round, I ended up running all over the gaff just so I could find each teleporter, and by the end of round 16, I finally had Pack-a-Punch open and could upgrade some guns. I obviously have no idea what guns are good or bad on this game, so I just upgraded what I currently had on me. But there are 4 weapons on this game that I know are very good, and they are the 4 wonder weapon pistol ray gun things that you can build. Yeah, didn't know how to do any of those steps though, did I? So I did the next best thing and just didn't bother. However, that didn't phase my Pac-Man's RK3 or NV4 as they carried me into the 20s. But this is when things went south, and they went south way too quickly. I'm attempting to train the zombies together until I'm slapped silly from all directions and sent packing. From here, I revived myself and grabbed my loadout from the kiosk. My main issue now was I had no clue where I got all of my perks from, and in a panic, I completely forgot to buy Quick Revive before running off to lock for the rest of my perks. I find Jug and Speed Cola with ease, but I couldn't for the life of me remember where double tap was. I frantically managed to squeeze my way into the next round, but it lasts about as long as I do, and soon after, I was down for the count and our first run comes to an end on round 22. This wasn't the end though. I was determined to put up a good run, so I did some research and then got back to it. With some much needed research done on how to actually play the damn map, I got back to it. This time around, I wanted one of the wonder weapons, and the one that stood out the most to me was the face melter. But before I could get my hands on it, there were a few things that needed to be done. Firstly, I needed tickets, which can only be acquired by doing challenges or playing arcade games, and well, challenges it was. Whilst I was getting power turned on and grinding out my tickets, I also got my first piece for the face melter, being the battery. Annoyingly, during this process, I downed myself because this step pretty much requires you to play hot potato with a grenade. Yeah, sure you can figure out how that went. Eventually, I got it done and we had our first piece of the puzzle. A few more rounds go by and we have Pack-a-Punch open. However, I didn't Pack-a-Punch straight away, mainly as I was a bit poor. I was also deliberating as to whether I should buy perks first as well, but once I hit 5k, I went and upgraded the Volk. My focus now was getting the face melter, but I still needed a few things. One being the toy, which I also managed to get my hands on during round 10, and the other being tickets, of which I needed about 600 of. Oh yeah, I also needed a boss zombie to spawn in, which didn't happen until round 13. With our big alien zombie guy here, my job was to get him to stop the crocodile trap and break its teeth. Sounds easy enough, right? Yeah, no. This was by far one of the most annoying things I've done in a while. There was about 4 or 5 times when all he had to do was take a step forward into the mouth before it closed and we'd be done. But instead he kept stopping right on the edge just to shoot his laser at me, and this got very frustrating very quickly. However, with a little bit of perseverance, we got it done. With the teeth broken, I need to find replacement teeth, which is where the tickets come into play, as you need to buy a pair of golden teeth from the reward desk in the arcade. With the teeth acquired, all I had to do was place them in the croc's mouth, which I didn't do for like 6 more rounds. In those 6 rounds or so, I just kind of forgot about the face melter, and instead turned my focus to getting perks and figuring out where to train for the rest of this game. But on round 18, I directed my attention back to the face melter. I got my arcane core bought for the M1 Garand. I'm not gonna lie, I thought this applied to both of my guns, not just the one I currently had in my hand, hence why I put it on the Garand, but oh well. With that now equipped, I made my way over to the rocket trap and got a whole wave of zombies fried. Now all I had to do was feed the little flying UFO with some souls and we'd be able to grab our final part of the face melter. After a round or so of soul munching, I got the arcane core charged and we headed back to the crocodile where I placed the teeth. We got the little door thing opened, grabbed our shard, and now we could finally build our wonder weapon. And at the end of round 20, I had the face melter. The face melter proved to be a good choice for me almost immediately, with it being able to one-shot zombies, and then kill even more zombies with an AoE explosion. It may not be the most powerful of the 4 wonder weapon pistols, I think that title probably belongs to the Discord, but for how simple it is to acquire, I was in dreamland. Round 22, I started training zombies around the crocodile trap. I didn't really know what I was doing, if I'm to be completely honest, but it was kind of working, so I stuck to it. On that same round, I swapped out the VPR for the ERAD, and the only reason for this was because it was on the wall in the area I was training in. No idea if it would be good or not, but I'm not going to pass up easy ammo. The majority of the 20s were actually quite simple. The ERAD did its job well enough, and the face melter continued to just boss the rounds and the big guys. But as I closed in on the 30s, this is where things got difficult. On round 30, the ERAD was not it, and probably would have been better firing chopsticks. The face melter was still dealing with zombies pretty easily, but the lack of ammo was a huge concern. There was one thing, however, that would have made this much easier: double Pack-a-Punch. If I were to get double Pack-a-Punch up and running and upgrade the ERAD furthermore, and also get an upgrade on the face melter, well, I'd be laughing. But that would mean beating the Zombies in Spaceland Easter egg on round 30 to possibly 40 plus, something of which I haven't done in 6 years, and quite frankly, I didn't fancy wanting to put my brain in a blender, so I went on without it. Things took a turn for the worst on round 32. I was taking out a wave of zombies, which I had previously chucked some grenades at. One of them dropped a token, which I wanted to get so I could get myself another special weapon thing. What I didn't notice was the crawler beelining it for my ankles, and well, as I go to grab the coin, the crawler does this thing and I'm taking a trip to the cleaners. I get revived and reclaim all of my perks, but this wasn't the beginning of a second wind, it was the beginning of my demise. I make it through the rest of round 32, and even round 33, but at the beginning of the following round when I'm buying ammo, all of the zombies spawn in and just have their way with me. I try to wiggle my way out of danger, but it's no use. I take about 7 steps before I'm put back on the ground where I belong. Upon reviving, I'm pretty much all but dead. I have hardly any ammo in the face melter, which quickly becomes none, and all I'm left with is the ERAD and no perks. On the perk front, I did somehow get myself Jug without becoming the zombie's next meal. My victory, however, was short-lived. Now that I didn't have quick revive, I decided to get Mule Kick for a bit more firepower. However, right after buying the perk, the zombies are back up my ass and get their next meal. Round 34, and it's all over once again. Now, if I had double Pack-a-Punch, I feel like around 50 is all but confirmed, but I thought instead of blitzing through the Easter egg in 60 seconds worth of video, I'll leave it for now, because let's be honest, me trying to beat this Easter egg will be a shit show in itself, and that's more than worthy of its own video. And with that, Spaceland gets the dub, but I'll be back. Thank you very much for watching, drop a like, leave a sub and all the other good stuffs, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.